What's up, everybody? So I'm gonna start doing a little bit more YouTube stuff because the Twitter clips, they're a little short and they don't really go into detail as to why anybody's thinking what they are. So I'm not saying that my stuff is better than anybody's. I'm just saying what I see, and some people have voiced wanting to see more of what works for me. So here we go. So first off, harmonic patterns. I'm not perfect at them. There's some rules that I know that I bend, but at the same time, the chart bends all the time. There's nothing perfect, so you got to move with it. The market is not always right, and the market is not always wrong. So it just does what it does. Anyway, this is the best way for me to actually gauge how I think the price is going to turn. And if we look at it like this, we basically make this big W, and there's a lot of them, a lot of patterns within patterns. So this is just the larger one on the 1 hour time frame. We can go out to the 4 hour really quick. Okay. So whenever you see these large patterns like this, you see this pretty prominent W right here. That usually tells me, okay, where are we going to get on this last leg? Where are we going to spill out? So these things have different ranges, and I'm not going to go into it because it gets kind of complicated. But just so you guys understand what these things are. And these are all pivots where you see the price action significantly change. So once these pivots are here, you mark them off. The thing that you can expect is it to revisit the pivot here, and then maybe revisit the pivot here or here. And if just to give you an example, so when you see the W like I have right here, I'm just going to flip the chart. If you see two peaks like this, that's something else you want to pay attention to. Because if you see two peaks, usually upon completion, it goes up. So, yeah, it's something to think about. And, I'm not the best Elliott wave guy, but there's a lot of waves within these, these lines or these trends here. So one big thing, the reason why I'm thinking we're topping out here is, let me flip it back around. I see a big ABC. ABC is going to go down or up. So that's why I'm like, huh. And that's why I was expecting this to kind of top out here, but I couldn't rule out that this is a big ABC pattern and that we were going to come to here. And if I use the fib extension tool, let me try to get that guy. All right, here we go. From the top of the move to where it corrected, it pretty much lined up perfectly with the 618. So that's why for me, I'm gonna stick it around here because this is where we're hitting resistance. So what I'd like for us to happen is actually get over the 618 and potentially charge, get over here to the 786. But right now, I'm just gonna be honest. We have a ton of resistance. So that's this is where I'm looking at that we can start rejecting. So let me get into the Stoke now. So the Stoke, this is where you start to get worried. Okay, so you see this big M pattern, but then we have this Stoke that was super topped out, and then the price action was here, but then the price action started going higher, but the momentum was way lower. So that's where I'm like, oh, price reversal is probably coming. So that's the way you look at stochastic here. Once the previous price action is lower, but the next price action is higher, that's going to be a bearish divergence. So that's why we saw it go up and we took a dip and then that thing turned back around. But right now it's showing some indecision and maybe some weakness because you got to remember this is the linear MACD, but there's another guy, his name's Chris Moody, that did this one. I like it better because it kind of signals the red and the green, but it's a linear MACD. But right here you don't see much, bigger swings. So I'm just thinking we're going to do a little bit of ranging in this area. But like right now, it's saying that we're gonna get some green action, but I'm just not convinced that it's gonna be big because volume is low, and I think the market right now just wants people to FOMO because I can't ignore this pattern here that we're gonna spill out. Okay, so just wanted to show you guys that this lined up perfect with a 618. Let's see. Okay, let me get this out of here. I use RSI also, but I have them overlapped right here. They're not together. Stoke RSI, some people use it. I don't use it because I just think they measure similar things, but it's different. The momentum has been working a lot better for me. So just to give you guys that idea of momentum, is where the price direction I think is going to go. Whereas RSI just the sharper spikes in price volume, so or action momentum much better because I'm more likely to get into a position when this is lower because the momentum is going to carry upward, and I get real nervous when I see the momentum real high and we start to roll over because once you start throwing over like this, that means that some sell pressure is coming. So like right here, we saw it, pop, 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 and then we saw this cross over and we went up. But then you have to pay attention, is there a divergence? And that's where I think we're going to get some price reversal here. And let me see, moving averages. Once I see these patterns, the moving averages are good. I don't use them all the time unless I'm like really getting into it and trying to scalp and like in the 1 hour to the 1 minute time frame. But if I just pop those things on just so to give you guys an idea. Okay, so whenever those things come together like this, I have to expect that they always act like magnets, but right here it's kind of like there's going to be a fight. We might hit this and then we're going to bounce around. So just kind of like how we did. I'm going to go all the way back. Ooh, nah, I'm not going to do that. Okay. So whenever they come together here, like I said, they're like magnets. When they come together, we might have some slippage where we might fall through this or catch support again, trend upward. But like I said, they're kind of they were all in the trajectory up, but they're starting to kind of level out. So that's what makes me think that in the next, maybe day or so, that we might be hitting this area. Go to the smaller time frame. So here's another thing before I forget. If we're over the 200-day moving average, which right here is red, the 50 is yellow, 100 is blue. If you're above the 4-hour, the 200 on the 4-hour time frame, I would say that's some sign of health. So I got in when it reclaimed it from down here. I was like, all right, it's time to get in. We're looking good. And we made that price action up, but I got out a little early. So again, 200-day, 4-hour, 4-hour time frame, and you're on top of it, that's a better sign of health. If you're under it, you gotta expect some rejection, just like we did here. So we're converging, so I'm thinking that's why we're going lower. So let me go back out here to the daily. This is where I have my bigger concern, is because the stochastic here, it's getting ready to turn over. Things can change, but still, things can turn over. And the last time we turned over, just want to give you guys an example, is when we had that mega sell-off. I'm not saying that's going to happen again. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying whenever we cross over, there is some sell pressure. So something to keep in mind. Here doesn't look so bad on the MACD, but once you start zooming in a little bit more, if you say the 6-hour, this is where you really see the MACD starting to really just taper off. And we're about to cross over to the red side, so that's why I'm watch out, guys, because we might have some sell pressure, and then the BTC action doesn't help. 4-hour time frame. So yeah, we have this right here. The momentum is definitely tapering off too, and this is where you start getting into confusion because this says, oh, some buying pressure is coming, but it doesn't necessarily match here, and it's on low volume. So that's why I'm like, oh, the algorithms are trying to get everybody to FOMO in. So that's where, if I'm trading anything, I stay kind of out. I'm like, okay, let's figure out where we're going first. Maybe I didn't catch the knife or didn't catch the top, but I'd rather lose a little bit of money than a whole lot of money. So, like the other day, it just sucks. Within like 20 minutes, I lost a freaking grand. That didn't feel good. So, let's see. You can save yourself from that stuff. Okay, so now you start going into the smaller time frames. That's where we saw some selling. Let's see real quick. Okay, so we're about to turn over. So we're just ranging right now. But again, when that daily time frame, it starts to really come down and throw over, that's where you're going to see the real action come lower. We want to see today, where are we going to end? on the daily time frame. I mean, right now we're looking rather okay, but one thing we are showing is that we're getting rejected in this area. And BTC price action not helping, and this bearish pattern. So just be prepared if you're trading. Just trying to teach a little bit about what I got going on. But I'm seriously though, a lot of my stuff last week, past couple weeks, I've been in again. I've been here. 5 minute. I've been in the 5 minute charts to the 1 minute. So when I see the price reversal, I see a support. I've been jumping in. Boom, jump in, jump in. Okay, when I see the resistances, jump out. Even if it keeps going, if I'm up, I don't care. If I get in a percentage, I'm good. It happens a lot. I don't catch the tops, I don't catch the bottom, but it's just like if you're actually trying to scalp, hey, be routine. You get your percentage, you see a movement upward, and that's where it's a good zone to get out. Sell. Have your stuff ready. So that's about it. I'll go over some other stuff later, but again, I'm just gonna be doing more stuff like this so you guys can have a better understanding of what goes on in my head when I'm trying to trade and stuff. All right, take care.